Hey y'all, just thought I'd do a video on marriage and the history of marriage. Now, some of you might be wondering why this is. It's because I've been having a conversation with a gentleman, his name's Sean, on here. It's not the usual Sean I'm usually picking on, which is VFX. This is actually another Sean. This is the gentleman that voted yes on Prop 8. And says he's taking the naturalistic point of view on it and not the religious point of view. Anywho, so I thought I'd do a quick video on the history of marriage because a lot of people seem to be confused on the subject. So now, in ancient Greece, you'd have, so I'm going to reread it real quick and give you guys a brief synopsis. Now, all this can be found, this info can be found on the first link that I'm going to put in here. Hopefully it goes through. I've had some problems with that in the past. Not quite sure why. Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. It's YouTube. So, I'll be right back. Okay, so now the ancient Romans actually gave a lot of rights to women who were married. So, unlike a lot of other ancient societies, they actually gave rights to women. And it was more of like a personal agreement, not so much a religious and or government issue. It was a personal issue. I gotta ask straight people this question. Would you be willing to get married if you didn't have, let's say, the tax write-offs, the pretty dresses, or having it as your day, you know, just a thought. Now, most of the societies that I read about on this page were women were little more than worth a little more than this cup of coffee. Yeah, Mickey Mouse isn't cute. Oh, wrong way. What can I say? Easily entertained, as always. Ooh, shiny thing. But no, a lot of the societies, women were downtrodden, looked at as property. Wasn't completely unheard of for now, like in ancient Asia and scratching several other older societies. Marriage was men were allowed to marry men. It was usually a status thing, and I believe it was the ancient Greeks, if I remember right, they would marry a younger male, and then they would in fact find the younger male after a certain amount of time had passed wife. Who came up with that idea? In ancient Asia, same thing. Now the Catholic Church, and now this was actually kind of an interesting thing. I didn't know this. The Presbyterians, I believe it was the Presbyterians, let me go down. Well, what they did is they wanted to actually get rid of the whole idea of marriage. They thought it was bullshit. Or, no, it wasn't Presbyterian. It was the Protestants. And it took place at the Council of Trent. Now, I've mentioned that because the Council of Trent did in fact go and change several passages in the Bible, which everyone goes, nothing's ever been changed. Look up Council of Trent and Council of Nicaea, and although it may seem like little things that were changed, the littlest things can make a huge difference. Okay, so I'm going to find the exact paragraph and read it to you. Give me just one tick. Okay, found it. The Protestant Reformation of the 16th century rejected the prevailing concept of marriage, along with many other Catholic doctrines. Martin Luther declared marriage to be a worldly thing that belongs in the realm of government, and a similar opinion was expressed by Calvin. The English Puritans in the 17th century even passed the Act of Parliament asserting marriage to be non-sacrament, and soon thereafter made marriage purely secular. It was no longer to be performed by a minister, but by a justice of the peace. The Restoration abolished the law and reverted the old system, but the Puritans brought their concept of marriage to America, where it survived. Luther and other Protestants also reduced the number of marriages impotent. Yeah. Affinity and spirituality affinity were no longer considered obstacles, and consanguinity was interpreted much more narrowly than before. Thus, even marriages between two first cousins became possible. Ew. The Catholic Church, in response to the Protestants' challenge, took its stand, and the Council of Trent in 1563 confirmed its previous doctrine. Indeed, it now demanded that all marriages take place before a priest and two witnesses, among other things. This virtually eliminated not only secret marriages, but also the formerly common informal marriages. These, similar to the old Roman marriages by Eusebius, were based simply on mutual consent without formal ceremony. I actually sort of like that idea. The idea that, you know, two consenting adults go in, two consenting adults come out, unless one of them gets killed or dies. It's very... what would be the appropriate term here? Appropriate? Yeah, I think appropriate's the right term there. So, in conclusion, now, I'm also going to try to find a couple links for History of Gay Marriage, and I know I saw a really good site on it. A couple good sites, I just got to find them real quick. So, as always, leave comments down below, and look for the links to the left. Stay safe, stay frosty, and peace. Because if you get married, you're never going to know any. Later.